Spring Television, where we say it as it is. How was your weekend? I guess it was worth it. Either it was busy, eventful, restful, whatever it is. This is Monday, the first official day of the week. Femi Ojo is my name, and we are ready. When I say we, it means we. Good morning, Daniel. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Femi.
Right.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Oh, very well. Very fine. Hope you had a great weekend.
Good to know. Very well.
Yeah.
Very well.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning to the world. Welcome once again to another wonderful edition of Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. A lot has been happening. A lot happened last week. And we'll be bringing you the stories just as they occurred. And of course, we'll be breaking new stories as well today. And I do hope that you are prepared for a wonderful week. Emeka Daniel is my name. Thank you for joining us again this morning.
All right, thank you very much. A lot to talk about. You talked about the last week, which was about, majorly about the Senator Natasha versus Senator Akpabio. Her outing at the IPU in New York, and then again on a Monday like this, it was official when Nasir El-Rufai moved from the APC to the SDP, and since then it's been one story to another, from the APC to the SDP itself, and reactions, allegations and counter allegations, responses all over the place, and it's still part of what we are seeing at this time. And towards the end of last week as well, the House of Representatives came out to say they have adopted the tax bill reforms, and many modifications are being made, and they are waiting for their counterpart at the Red Chamber, to concur, come up with their own resolution. And Nigerians are waiting how these will better their lives. The economy on one side, their daily well-being on the other side. Some of these, instruments, modifications, that have been factored in, some remodified, some removed, the VAT, the inheritance tax, the exemptions. Many Nigerians are not bothered by that. What they are bothered about is how all of these things affect them, and how it gives them a quality and a better life that they can have.
Absolutely. And in addition to that as well, last week, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan went to the IPU. The IPU said, "We've heard you, and we will look into it." Also last week, interestingly, the Ebira Youth Leaders Forum passed a vote of no confidence in Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, talking about her own people, passing votes of no confidence, claiming that she is not representing them well. Interestingly, that same week, talking about last week, the Senate passed a vote of confidence in the Senate president. So you can see a lot of drama laying out there. Passing a vote of confidence on the Senate president, and the Ibira Youth Leaders Forum passing a vote of no confidence in the senator representing
let's
them.
Let's take it one by one before we go on the break. As for the Ibira, what do you call them again?
Youth Leaders Forum.
Who are they? That's the question.
They are people of our constituency. They are constituents.
My brother, anybody in a time like this, at a time like this, anybody can come up. You and I can come up with a Ibira Consultative Forum. That's the way it works. And where were they? Have you ever had them before now? We are Nigerians. We know how this thing plays out. So you can get a couple of people to say, "Oh, we are for," or "we are against." So and then we talk about no vote of no confidence. On which platform? Which confidence? Have you ever reposted anybody? The day in the first place come out with a united front to say we vote her in the first place. To say we have confidence in her when she was running for office. So how come
so you mean all of a sudden they found their voices?
Who are they? That's the thing. At this time, anybody, you can see a Bira National Congress, and the national might not be more than one room. So some of them might not even have office. They can just come out. So some persons, with due respect, who are they before now? There must be persons that you've been hearing from before. Who are they? Anybody can come up and say we are a Bira Descendant Union. assuming there is nothing like that before, and then they say, oh, we are supporting Natasha. Who are you before? Absolutely. See, all these persons, they have right of expression and opinion. Let them do that. But I'm not sure, respectfully speaking, they are worth, talking about. Now, if there's anybody to talk about, is about the Senate. That's an institution
Absolutely.
of the government that we know.
No.
109 of them have the mandate of their people. And whatever they do or they don't do, their people are watching. But when you come out, do you see the politics playing out in Rivers? I'm not even talking about the real politics.
Talking about Rivers now.
The tribal politics of, Ijo National Congress, Ijo National Union, Ijo this and that.
There's another one actually. Over the weekend, Femi, over the weekend, a group, the Ijo Youth Frontiers, were protesting. They came out to protest in Bayelsa, not even in Rivers.
That what?
So they protested in Bayelsa. Calling on the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to caution the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. So we have the Ijo Youth Frontiers now.
Ijo Youth Frontiers?
Absolutely. In Bayelsa.
How many of them?
Not in Rivers, in Bayelsa.
But we have better things to do. We go on this break, and when we return the papers, we continue. That's just the way it is. And, we have more for you. It's going to be a bumper package today on Morning Spring with Daniel and I. We're back. All right, the papers are in at this time, and we start from the Punch newspaper, the Punch. All right, the House subsidy removal, tension worsened Niger's fuel scarcity. House subsidy removal and tension worsened Niger's fuel scarcity. Now, fuel marketers decry closure of stations at border towns. Citizens demand more Nigerian goods. House subsidy removal and tension worsened Niger's fuel scarcity, with a rider that says fuel marketers decried closure of stations at border towns, and citizens demand more Nigerian goods. A lot going up there, especially since Niger chose to go the other way, where we talk about the type of government, and they have been under military dictatorship, and some of them, of those countries, not just Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and some of those countries have chosen to pull out, out of the ECOWAS, especially Niger, and then form their own frontier. And, saying, let's mind our business and handle our own affairs. But it seems the situation is choky there, especially as far as the fuel consumption and Nigerian goods are concerned. And knowing fully well, many of their towns, they are border towns with Nigerians as well. Now, below that, a very sad situation. 59 killed, 155 hospitalized in Macedonia nightclub fire. And you can see first responders, rescue, operatives, going around what happened there. 59 killed and 155 hospitalized in Macedonia nightclub fire. Thoughts and prayers are with them for that European country. Now, beside that, governors lobby Tinubu to block local government direct payment. Governors lobby Tinubu to block local government direct payment. One will say why? There is financial autonomy, and if the autonomy is going to be absolute, then these guys better have access to the fund directly from Abuja, because as it is right now, they don't have direct access. There are signatories to the JAC. That is what is called JAC at every state, joint account. So, and state governments are signatories to those accounts. It means when local governments are being, given a certain amount, you can go ahead independently and unilaterally, to withdraw the fund or to make use of the fund without the signatory of the state government. So many of them feel at the local government, if these financial independence, especially at the aftermath of that Supreme Court landmark decision to say, you guys, you have autonomy to yourself, financially speaking, and to a large extent, let us have access to that fund straight
Absolutely.
from Abuja without the
I
input
think the
of
local government should gain direct access to the funds because that's the essence of being autonomous. So why should the state governments still be looking into the affairs of the local government? I mean, they have their own problems to worry about.
They are signatory. That's the way it has been, except it's now is the review.
But according to that ruling, the local government should, in fact, be getting their funds directly without any interference from the state government. That's the essence of autonomy.
Well, it's more like you guys cannot handle your affairs by yourself. Now, the operationalization is what they are concerned about now. Like, please make it absolute so that, you know, they can handle their affairs by themselves. When all the signatories are put down their signature, append their signature, then they have their fund. But they are saying, let no state government be part of the signatories again and let them have their funds.
But as long as the state government are still signatories, then of course, technically, they are still not in total control of their funds. And
the Punch is reporting that governors have been lobbying the president to say, let it stay at its ease, you know, block, you know, that agitation from the local government to our financial autonomy, you know. But then, at the top of that, we have Ashake ready to buy me house, says father, baby mama alleges neglect. This is becoming, you know, another Portable story. Remember Portable? There's Azul Kuna who is one day on trouble, but it seems he's busy now. His hands are full at the moment, so he's not having so much time, especially with what he has gotten himself into in Ogun State. But now he's about Ashake. In the last 5 days, the outcry from the family members, the
father came out to say he has been neglected,
been abandoned. And, you know, the man, I saw a reel of his as Ashake himself, musically responding in a kind of way to say, he said it through music that he has been, you know, when I can say you have been pressing money, it means you have been giving and that there's nothing you can do to satisfy everybody. But then the family came back to say, we are not doing what is right. You have a daughter, you have abandoned with them. In fact, go ahead and get a DNA done on that baby, 11-year-old or thereabout, and then it's mercy. The Punch is reporting this morning that Ashake ready to buy me house, says father, and baby mama alleges neglect. These are some of the things, you know, Daniel, many persons will say these are not strange. These are things that happen.
Absolutely.
The only reason it's making the news is because Ashake is a popular. Many persons have these issues everywhere, but because you are not that popular, and because this is a guy who has made it musically, so to speak, so everybody's trying to latch in. Some are telling him there is the narrative of possibly the father abandoning the guy while he was younger or deny his pregnancy. But many persons, traditionally speaking, have been beckoning on Ashake to say, you are the popular guy here. No matter what has happened, it's your fame, it's your legacy that is being shredded
is at stake
at this moment. If there are things you can do and it will move you, please go ahead and do that. But then the choice is his.
Now, apart from that, once you start making money and it's in public domain and you're famous, you know, people will start springing up. You've abandoned us. It happens anyway.
The baby mama is being said, you have abandoned me.
I wouldn't be surprised when Danzigi, I mean, starts making so much money. you see baby mama.
I don't understand. If this is you trying to do a damage control into the future, do it in a very proper way. This is not the forum in which you tell whoever. Let me keep my.
Nobody should come up in future, please.
You can't decide that. Just be popular, have some good money, then you can't. These are the things, you know, jokes aside, these are the things you can't control. Really, especially, that's why I'm saying, if it's you doing collateral damage, or what's it called? Yes. Go and check your record and make peace now.
No, my record is clean, absolutely clean.
I'm not interested in that. But then top strip. Now, budget letter, Rivers. Assembly differ. Fubara urges House to reconvene. The House has gone on indefinite, you know, a break. It is a lot. We'll be looking into that in the course of the program, and that will be all from the Punch front page for today.
Moving on to the Nigerian Tribune this morning. SDP, Sule Lamido tackles El Rufai. Social Democratic Party, Sule Lamido tackles El Rufai. With a rider, if PDP is struggling today, it is still the party that nurtured El Rufai. If he claims PDP is dead, then he must remember that it is the party that gave him the platform, the political foundation. Whatever he has achieved today, PDP made it possible. So that is Sule Lamido there, tackling Nasiru El-Rufai, who has just defected to the SDP. On the top strip of the Nigerian Tribune, rather, federal government stop threatening Nigerians for criticizing government. FG must stop threatening Nigerians for criticizing government, and that's according to Amnesty International. You would recall that something surfaced last week about a Lagos Youth Corps member who actually criticized the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and she claims she's receiving threats. She's being threatened. Now, Amnesty International is saying that people should not be threatened for speaking up. You can read up the rest of that story in the Nigerian Tribune today. The FG must stop threatening people.
Yeah, when I saw that particular situation and the news, mine is, I've not really gotten, detail of what happened, is, let's put things into the right perspective now. The first outburst of the lady, in which she has a right, freedom of expression and all of those things, opinion and all of those things are enshrined in the United Nations Charter, of course, it's given to her by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Did she make that particular video as a core member or as a Nigerian? You know what I'm saying? That?
Yeah, I understand. I think she made that in Nigerian on TikTok. It was just a video. Now, she just vented.
If she says, I am Femi Ojo, and these are the things I'm going through, right? You have a right as Nigerian. I think my personal opinion on this matter, even if I don't have any now, but then is, if you're a core member, especially adorning the uniforms, the regalia, the gear of the NYC members, you are told at your orientation, you don't have opinion on issues bordering on NYC. If there are things that you need to do, you know the right channel to follow. You can't grant press. I can remember, even if it's almost more than a decade now, that they told you, if people, pressmen or anybody are looking for information, direct them to a particular place. If there are agitations in your camp or concerns in your dormitory or your PPA, you can't talk to outsiders, quote and unquote, on the matter as a core member. But now, if the lady in question...
So effectively, core members don't have rights anymore. Is that what you're saying?
You should know, there are things that we should know, and there are rules guiding every organization. It's just like people in uniform, the military man, there are things they can't say, even when they feel like saying it. There are things they can't do because there are official channels in which they can vent those things from. That's what I'm saying. Now, she can be a core member, not wearing the NYC uniform, not talking as a core member, talking as a Nigerian. She has all the right. But there are things you should know. I think we should not just allow emotions to play on us. There are rules guiding every organization. But then, as I will usually say, what do I know?
Okay, moving on to other stories. In the Nigerian Tribune this morning, ex-SGF, ex-minister among promoters of coalition to challenge APC. Ex-SGF, ex-minister among promoters of coalition to challenge APC. You might want to find out who that ex-SGF is and who the ex-minister is as well. You can read up that story on page 40 of the Nigerian Tribune. Gunmen abduct businessman, wife, daughter in Ondo, demand 20 million naira ransom. Gunmen abduct businessman, wife, daughter in Ondo, demand 20 million naira ransom. Of course, you know that kidnapping has become a lucrative business, so to say. Unfortunately, in this part of the world, we've been having cases of kidnapping. Just last week, we talked about Catholic priests who have been kidnapped for the past 10 years. About 150 or thereabout have been kidnapped. The government really needs to rise to the occasion right now and check this menace. so that we stop having these unfortunate and unpleasant stories here and there. Moving on to other stories on the Tribune this morning. Police inspector kills self in Ogun. Police inspector kills self in Ogun. You can read up that story on page 42 of the Nigerian Tribune. Kabir Akombi is Supreme Court Chief Registrar. Kabir Akombi is Supreme Court Chief Registrar. Pressure to impeach Plateau Speaker thickens. Pressure to impeach Plateau Speaker thickens. The embattled Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly is under pressure of impeachment. You can read up that story on page 40 of the Nigerian Tribune. PENCOM simplifies payment of retirement benefits. PENCOM simplifies payment of retirement benefits. Still on the Nigerian Tribune, NDLEA intercepts cocaine, opioid shipments in prayer beads. Others. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency intercepts cocaine, opioid shipments in prayer beads. Others. This is quite unfortunate. I mean, people hiding hard drugs, cocaine and opioids in prayer beads. Just imagine that. The least places you would imagine that people could hide drugs. And of course, we are in the fasting period. So who would think that people will hide cocaine in prayer beads? I mean, these should be sacred instruments, prayer beads.
Well,
so people have become so smart. Look at the genius there.
I dare say corny, because that's not smart. That's corny.
Prayer beads. Something that should be reverenced. I mean, it should be holy.
So you think? Yeah.
So imagine someone mistakenly taking one of those beads and praying to his God and praying to God, and you're actually praying with.
If the intention has gone through, actually, nobody will have access to that.
Absolutely.
There is a reason why they have done it that way. And these persons, in spite of being caught almost every now and then, they devise new means to have their business done. Their criminal venture done. Last week I saw one in which they packed it inside the air. Actually, you won't think anything is there. Anyhow, the machine detected, or there's an intelligence report or something, and they had to go through the scalp of this individual, put the clippers or scissors, a pair of scissors, to just remove the thing, and you will not know anything until layers of drugs were being removed from the hair. So, as the government or agencies, and it's all over, it's not just in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
I think the battle with drugs in Nigeria is something. In the US, it's another thing. Mexico, in Cuba, the Latin America has been a hub for drugs, and we just have to do better. But then people should know why things are hard. Maybe we should just be patient and do things that we can do that are legitimate. Because in some countries, in Nigeria, you go to prison. Actually, there are persons making some plans to say anybody involved in drugs or fake drugs or adulterated drugs or hard drugs should be considered a killer, so to speak.
There are tougher sanctions in the Arab world. Tougher sanctions.
Tougher and fatal. Absolutely. Because the guillotine is waiting. Absolutely. The hangman, the swordman is waiting. Anybody that has been condemned to found guilty of being involved in drugs in Saudi Arabia, in some other countries, Malaysia, your head will leave your neck. But then people will still find their way around their businesses. But we are just saying, people usually put it on poverty and economic woes and all of those things.
No, that's not an excuse.
But then let's just do better.
Absolutely not. And come to think of the fact that Nigeria happens to be a very religious nation. That's my worry. We are very religious.
And that's why that thing was packaged in a rosary, in a praying bead. That's just a thing. You want to use the religion sentiment, but I think the NDLA, the narcotics guys know that nobody, and quickly before you move, that's why when you go into some countries, especially as Nigerians, you having the green passport, the way you'll be searched is always different from other countries.
You're almost like a suspect.
Like, not almost, you are. The moment you present your passport, they will touch every part of your body because there are some unscrupulous elements. Although one might say it's discriminatory because there's somebody coming from Mexico. Mexico is a hub of drugs than Nigeria, Cuba, many of these countries, Venezuela. And do they have their people checked as much? But then we should be good representative of our country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Then finally from the Nigerian Tribune this morning, resurgence of diphtheria. Resurgence of diphtheria. Why it is public health concern in Nigeria. Causes, transmission, diagnosis, symptoms, treatment, how to prevent it. Breakdown of data of affected states according to NCDC, that's the National Center for Disease Control. Talking about the resurgence of diphtheria in Nigeria. You might want to check out the rest of that story on page 43 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And that will be all from the Nigerian Tribune.
And of course, that will be all on the newspaper segment for today. We go on this break. By the time we return, we switch, the conversation, and then we talk about something that you will be yearning rather than itching to hear and to know and to watch. I'll also remind you that you can follow this conversation. Perhaps you're on your way out of your home now, going to work. You don't have to miss anything. Just go on our YouTube channel and, of course, put it on your device and you won't miss anything at all on Western Spring TV on our YouTube channel. Stay with us.